What's up, guys? Welcome to the Big Mad Podcast. My name's Lucas, and let's get into it. Coming back on episode number... I don't care. I don't care. I don't know why I'm even talking about the number. So, this is an episode of the Big Mad Podcast, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I know I'm getting close to 20, which is exciting, because I honestly wasn't for sure I was going to keep doing this. And then now here I am with all these changes, all these new things I've been doing with the podcast, and it's been fun. So coming up on 20 episodes, I'm pretty excited to have made it that far. I'm starting to gain some traction with people. So to all my new listeners, thank you for being there. You might not get to this episode if you're listening in order. So, you're trying to catch up. So I would encourage people to listen to the episodes in order. You don't have to, because every episode's a new topic, but I do build on some of the ideas I've made in prior episodes. And you just kind of get to see me evolve through this process. I went back and listened to my first episode, and from my perspective, and this is me, I'm viewing myself, I can recognize some differences. So, seeing improvement and seeing changes and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going to try and keep my preface to the episode a little bit shorter so I can talk more about what the episode's about. I'm known to go on tangents. That's just what I do. If I start talking, I can go off on something else and just be completely distracted. And I feel like this is from my opinion. So for anybody that wants to give me feedback, please let me know on this. I may be talking too much about myself and about what I'm doing with the podcast, too much to where the content and the bulk of the episode is less about, the majority of the time slot is my subject, but maybe I'm filling too much airtime with what I'm doing right now. So going forward, maybe I'm going to try and talk more on the subjects and this and that. I don't want to bore my listeners. I'm trying to give the best experience to the listeners that want to listen to me while also venting out my frustrations, because that's what the Big Band Podcast is all about. I'm here to vent, I'm here to be frustrated, and that's what I do. So I just get these ideas and I just fucking vent. And sometimes I start talking and I just talk about other shit and then I get distracted because there's no script. I do this all off the top of the head, so maybe sometimes if I'm stuttering, if I'm stammering and things seem off, it's a completely improv. I don't have any plans, I don't have anything in mind when I do this. I have a notes in my phone and I look up the subject I want to talk about. I don't even have it worded or phrased in a question that I'm going to pose on the podcast. I just have an idea and then I just go with it. So, yeah, so winging it. So, we'll get into today's episode. And I've been getting a lot of topics lately. Maybe I'm just more annoyed than I normally am lately. But, yeah, frustrating. And this one, this is less of a frustrated thing, I guess, and more of a why. Why is that like that? What does that change? So, I'm not a marketing expert, and I don't claim to be or claim to know everything about marketing. Fine. But what I don't understand is how some of these obscure brands use celebrities in their ads, which they have to pay a lot of money for that celebrity to be in the ad. I don't feel like it changes the ad. So for example, I saw an ad featuring Kevin Hart, and I believe he was holding up a credit card. So it was a commercial, or it was an ad, it was a photo, it was an ad for a credit card. And behind him was a gas station. Huh? Okay, maybe the card has benefits and cashback bonuses for the gas station. Cool. But why Kevin Hart? What value does he add to that ad to sell credit cards? It's just him smiling, holding it. And you can tell the photo of him holding the credit card, he's not actually there holding the credit card. he had his hand up in pose, and they photoshopped the credit card in his hand, and then they green screened him with a gas station behind. What, huh? Does this work on people? Does someone go up and be like, oh, I wasn't going to get that credit card. I didn't think anything about it. But now that Kevin Hart is holding it, gotta go get that credit card because Kevin Hart is holding it and I like him, so I like that credit card. That is the most irrational logic I can think of. That can't work. Please don't tell me that this works on people. You can't be that dumb. I'm sorry, if that influences you, you're dumb. What does that change? That doesn't add value to the credit card. Because Kevin Hart is holding the credit card, you don't get better rewards, you don't get better fly miles, you don't any of that shit. Just him holding it doesn't change anything. The one thing that I could maybe understand that using a celebrity in that type of ad would do is catch someone's attention. So for example, if they see it on their Facebook feed and they're like, oh, it's a picture of Kevin Hart, and maybe that locks them in more. Maybe that's what it is. That could be, I don't know. I don't get it because that wouldn't catch me even if it's someone I like. The only way I stop and would look at something is if it's a celebrity that I know. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, that doesn't make sense. A comedian, a credit card company, and a gas station. Those are very random things. And so in any example beyond the Kevin Hart example, where it's a different celebrity with something, it just kind of doesn't make sense. Another one that comes to mind is Shaquille O'Neal with, what's he do? Icy Hot. Now that kind of makes sense because he's an athlete, and that's kind of the target audience for Icy Hot. So if you got a celebrity using the product that it makes sense for them to use, that could sell it. If a high-profile figure endorses a product, that makes sense to me. But Kevin Hart endorsing a credit card? Just compare credit cards with each other and then figure out which one you want from there. Why is everyone so influenced by these fucking baity ass, like, it's not clickbait, but it is. It's like, why does that work? Why does that shit work? How are people so vulnerable? Seriously. Fuck, man. And you know what? This leads me into something else. And so we've got ads with celebrities that don't make sense. The idea doesn't make me mad. I guess I'm more big mad about the fact that people fall for that shit. But now what I'm thinking is just clickbait in general. How does that work? How is that successful? Everything today is a goddamn outrage tactic. Everything is designed to make people mad. Perfect marketing because it works, but now that it's like known, it's a known thing, why are people still falling for it? What is it? I haven't seen these in a couple years now, but it was always like, this U.S. Marine did this, but you'll never guess what happened next. Just begging you to click on the link. And of course, you hit all the check marks for an American. Oh, U.S. Marine, we gotta support the troops. That just hits home with everybody in America. That's like the one marketing thing that you can get everybody in a country to agree on. Support the troops, everything, fucking awesome. Marines are awesome. American military, awesome. I'm not saying that. It's just funny to me how susceptible and vulnerable people are to the most basic marketing tactics. It's the whole, oh, how does it work? How is it successful? I cannot figure this out because when I see something with clickbait, I immediately know it's clickbait. And I'm like, okay, no credibility there. No credibility there. Let's check the link. breakingnews.satire.com. Okay, sounds odd. Sounds like satire because it is. But then you look at the info on the website and it's like, oh, it's only existed for a year or two. Why does it nobody look into things that they share. If you share a fucking article of any kind and you do not read it yourself, you're a problem. Now let me repeat that. If you share any article without reading it first yourself, you're a problem. We talk about fake news all the time now. Don't share headlines. Share articles that have integrity and credibility and things that you have read thoroughly and understand. If you share something solely for the headline, get the fuck out. You are not a credible person. I do not trust you if that's who you are. A good example of this was someone shared this article where it was about energy drinks and how they're bad for you. And the headline was something along those lines. It was a deterrent for energy drinks, and it's like, oh, energy drinks give you heart attacks or something like that. Come to read the article, no, it was like, you drinking coffee is better than drinking energy drinks or something of that nature. And someone shared that, pushing their narrative and their agenda against energy drinks. They personally want to believe that energy drinks are bad. Okay? So they share this article that fits into their beliefs with a headline that fits into their beliefs, and then they share that, pushing their narrative further. I read the article, and I know they did it because as I was reading it, it talked about caffeine. That was the subject. It wasn't energy drinks are bad, it wasn't coffee is better, and vice versa. It was large amounts of caffeine increases your heart rate. That was the main gist of it. But the headline led you to believe that coffee is better than energy drinks. And I don't know whether it is or not, and that's not what I'm trying to prove here. It's the fact that that person falsely pushed their narrative that they wanted to be true. Whether it was or not doesn't matter. They wanted it to be true. They pushed that narrative and shared that article and tagged someone else in it when the article wasn't even about the headline it had. It was clickbait. And it worked perfectly on that person. How are you that stupid to fall for that? I don't get it. And of course, if I comment on this and I say something and I correct them, which already makes me sound like a pretentious asshole, but if I do anything to, in my mind, help them understand, I'm not trying to be malicious or aggressive, but everyone on the internet or reads anything through text, they read it in the tone that they want to hear it in. So if they want to be mad, they read your text in the tone that's angry so they can be mad at you, so they can justify being mad at you, because everyone is defensive when you conflict with their opinion. It's an opinion. It doesn't matter. Everyone can have their own. And if it's not an opinion, people still don't change their mind when facts are given to them. It's like a personal attack when you try to discuss something that you disagree. Everyone gets fucking mad. And so, of course, I gotta just let this false article being shared, I gotta let it go, because I would be the bad guy if I tried to help them. It would come off as pretentious. I would be like an elitist, being like, well, actually, it's like this. When I'm not trying to be that at all. I'm trying to help you because you misunderstood the article. That's okay. I'm not mad that you did that. I want to help you understand so you don't make this mistake in the future, because you're spreading false information and pushing a narrative that you want to be true that doesn't necessarily have to be true. So, fuck. Keep making hand gestures. I got a lot of hand gestures going on this episode. I'm big mad now. I'm big mad, and I went off on the tangent that I literally talked about at the beginning of this episode. I'm doing exactly what I said I would do, and I didn't mean to. I know myself. I have the introspection enough to know myself and who I am. So, if you share any article, any news story, any blog, any write-up of any kind, and you have not read it yourself, you're the problem. Stop doing it. Man, that one gets me fired up, and that wasn't even the topic I wanted to go off of. And I do have a side note on that too. I have seen in comment sections where people will share the story they want to share, and then someone will comment something and they're like, oh, I was just saving it for later because I wanted to come back and read it. Then don't share it! That's not the way you save information. You don't... I'm getting so fired up, I'm choking. If a journalist is writing a story and they have it 50% complete, they're not done writing the story, do they publish it in the newspaper, send it out to every household, and post it online and be like, oh, I was just saving it for later because somehow I can't save it in Microsoft Word on my computer, so I just sent it out so it was still available. But I'm going to come back and readdress it and change it. So why would you share a story on Facebook if you wanted to come back and read it? There is an option to save things, or copy the link and put it in your notes, or copy the link and text it to yourself. There are a bazillion different ways you can save that story. My God, if you think the only way you can save information is by posting it to Facebook to come back to later, you're dumb. You're showing all your friends this thing. What if the headline was clickbait, right? And it was something that you thought was cool, but come to find out, the article is about something you definitely disagree with, and it makes you look like a terrible person and just bad, like, and you shared that, and all your friends are like, what the fuck? I don't like this person now. And then they get that narrative, and that narrative sticks. Like, people wonder why they get reactions from people sometimes, and it's like, you're doing this to yourself, and you just don't know it. Maybe I do that too, and I don't know it. Because I don't. But, my God. Whew. Got a little heated there. But I hope you understand what I'm talking about, because it is very frustrating. I wanted to talk about marketing. I was trying to get off social media, but I got veered right back into it. It blows my mind. Social media is just so, I don't want to say misused, but I do want to say that. Because I'm not the person who can oh, social media should be used this way. I know everything. I don't think of myself that way, but it does appear that social media is used very incorrectly very often. That thing has been abused. And it's unfortunate. I don't understand the rationale that people have in these things. So that's where I'm coming from. So anyway, I did set the timer for this episode. I usually forget to do that, and so I did it this time. So we're doing good on that. I can see I'm coming up on time. I think I've ranted long enough, and yeah, so I'm gonna cut it there. I still have thoughts in my head that I could continue talking about this, but I'm gonna stop here. Maybe come back to it in another episode. So anyway, if you're still listening and you endured my tangent and my rant, thank you. Do appreciate every listener. Find me on Apple Podcasts, find me on YouTube, find me on Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube page if you are able. Leave a comment if you are able, and like if you are able. That really helps me a lot. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, I would appreciate a review as well. And I'm not going to ask for a 5-star review. I want that, obviously, but I want an authentic review. If you have criticisms about me and you actually believe I deserve a 4-star, that's fine. Please leave that review. If you think what I'm doing is poor and you have constructive criticism that's reasonable and rational, and you feel I deserve a 1-star, I would welcome you to send that review as well. I can't get better if I don't get constructive criticism, so I'm not going to ask for 5 stars. I'm not going to ask for, I want to be as genuine as I can. I'm not doing this for money. I don't make money. I spend money doing this. This costs me money to do this. So right there it tells you my motives aren't selfish. I'm doing this because I want to, and because I want to spread my thoughts. I have to get these things out of my head because I will go insane if I don't talk to someone about them, and if I don't just put it out there. And this is fun for me. It's a good event. So Thank you for listening. Give me all the feedback you can if you're interested in doing so, and like and subscribe if you're also interested in doing that. Follow the Twitter page at BIGMADPOD. I use that pretty frequently. I would appreciate if you wanted to follow that. And you can keep up with everything up to date. That is where I put everything first. That is the first line of breaking news for me. So yeah, hit me up there. I tweet regular stuff too. So yeah, I'm going to complete the podcast there. I think that's a good cutoff point. I may have gone a little over time, but that's okay. Anyway, thank you for listening. I genuinely appreciate it. My name's Lucas. This is the Big Mad Podcast, and I'll catch you next time.